Hello guys, in this video I'm going to be talking a little bit about the classic tweening feature inside of Flash. Let's begin by drawing a basic circle, and the way we do this is using the oval tool. We press and hold down the shift key while we drag with our mouse to create a perfect circle, because otherwise you end up with something like this. So we're going to hold down the shift key. It keeps it nice and uniform. And I'm going to make sure that this drawing has a little bit of a fill. That looks good. I'm going to select it, press the F8 function key. This pulls up the convert to symbol feature. We're going to call it ball. We're going to leave the registration point in the center and press the OK button. Now that we have a symbol, we can use Flash's classic tweening features to animate it. So here's the thing. In order to animate something using the tweening feature, you can only have one symbol per frame per layer. So we're going to leave this alone. We're going to go to frame, let's call it frame 30, right click on it, select insert keyframe. And basically what that does is that it duplicated everything that was on frame 1. So now we have this here and we have that there. We're going to take this symbol, move it to one side of the stage. So now frame 1 has that ball symbol on the left side and frame 30 has the ball symbol on the right side. To create our animation, we're going to right click anywhere between those two keyframes, select classic tween, create classic tween, and Flash automatically creates our in-betweens for us. This is called interpolation. So Flash automatically interpolates all the frames that take place between frame number 1 and frame number 30. Now this is a very even interpolation. There's nothing fancy about it. I'm going to turn on my onion skin tool and you can see that every interpolated frame is evenly spaced. So one of the things that we can do to play around with it or to change the appearance or make it a little bit more dynamic and organic, we can go to our properties panel and use the ease in or ease out features, or the easing property. So if we take this number, move it all the way to the left, we have created what Flash calls an easing in. And what this looks like is that as the sequence is about to end, Flash is easing in, it's speeding up basically. So it starts out slow. The more frames, the slower your animation, the more frames you need in order to create that illusion of slowing down. But the faster the the sequence, the less frames you have to use in order to achieve it. So in this case, you end up with something that starts out slow and speeds up towards the end. Now if we go in the opposite direction, easing out, and put it all the way up to 100, notice that it starts with less frames or less drawings towards the beginning and more drawings towards the end. So we end up with an animation that looks like that. And that is called easing out. Now this particular bit of knowledge is useful if you're creating or when you're creating something a little bit more advanced, obviously. So let's go ahead and Control Z our way all the way back. And we're going to move this one to the center. We're going to create a perpetual bouncing ball. So we're going to insert keyframe on frame 24. At 24 frames per second, that means that this animation is going to be 1 second long. So we have one keyframe here, one there, and that's great. I want it to start here and I want it to end there at that same position. But somewhere in the middle, I'm going to right click, insert keyframe, and while pressing down the shift key and the up arrow, I'm just going to move it up. Okay, I'm just going to nudge it up a bit. So now I have 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 3 keyframes: the beginning, the middle, and the end. So I'm going to select this entire range, right click on the selected area, and select Create Classic Tween. And I don't need to be looking at that. I'm going to turn on my looping option for my timeline, and we're going to take a look at the playback. Notice again that this is a very evenly distributed bit of animation, so there's nothing special about it. However, when we combine it with the easing in and easing out, we can actually make it look a little bit more dynamic and more natural. So in this case, I am going to I'm going to ease in. Actually, no, I'm going to ease out. Okay, because I want it to be fast. Okay, the ball just bounced, and as it goes up, I want it to gradually lose speed. So in the next range, I'm going to click there just to have it activated. I'm going to ease in. Therefore, it's going to be slow, okay, and then it's going to gradually gain momentum as it gets closer to the gravity point, and it's going to bounce back again. So let's take a look at that and see what it looks like. It looks a lot more natural. Now there's various types of properties that you can tween inside of Flash. For example, we can tween the scaling of a symbol. So in this case, I'm going to take that symbol. I'm going to basically, I can scale it any way I want. Okay. And the scale is actually tweened with it. But in this case, I'm going to hold down the Alt key. That way it bends along, it stretches along the bottom when I tug on it. I'm just going to squeeze it down a bit, okay? Then I'm going to my last frame. I'm also going to squeeze it, but not too much. So now I have something that looks like this. Okay, so you can tween the location or the position, or also known as the transformation of a symbol. You can tween the scale. You can also tween the color. So let's take a look at this symbol's property here. Color effect. Let's go with tint. We're going to change it to a blue one. Hit play, and notice that our ball changes color. Also, if you want, you can tween the alpha, which is the opacity. So if you want to make something appear in or disappear, you can put it to 0, for example, and have something that looks like that. You can tween the brightness. So if you just want it to get brighter or darker, so here's darker, or there's brighter. Let's make it a little darker and take a look at it. And you also have an advanced mode, which lets you tween a combination of all of the above. So it's just your alpha, the amount of red, the amount of green, and the amount of blue. So there you go. Classic tweening inside of Flash.